Delete. Delete, 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 delete. All right, calm down. Nobody panic. I know we're gonna delete the runways. Calm down. It's all right. It's all gonna be okay. I need to dial in where I can land. I can't hit either one of the runways where they are now. So I think sliding that one runway over like I just showed you, I think that's gonna be the way to go. So don't panic, it's gonna be okay. We'll get it mowed in nicely in a different spot. We'll focus on just one runway instead of both. We'll get a little compass or something and find the runway headings and do the runway markings and all the fun stuff, get a windsock, all the fun activities that we had planned, but we're just gonna do it with one runway in a slightly different spot, or to hopefully be able to land on the dang runway. I can't do it. So we're gonna do a couple flights today just to really feel out where I want that runway, how big I want that runway. I want to make everything a little bit smaller, so I have to kind of force myself to be a little bit better at landing. So a little bit with the F-18, a little bit with Draco, and a little bit with the Spitfire today. Kind of feel it out, feel where, all right, I think I could, right through this area here, if I use, this approach path, all that fun stuff, we'll get those landings dialed in and get a better feel for where we want these runways, or this one runway, to be from now on. So yeah, let's get to it. So basically what I'm thinking is I'm not using this runway quite as often as one would think. I like this one better. For some reason, that little bit of an angle on it just helps with bringing it in from over here. I don't know what it is, coming in at a little bit of an angle. It just lines me up really nicely to come in for this runway. Whereas when I use this one, I don't know why, it just doesn't feel right. So I want to focus my attention just on one runway. So I think I'm going to use this one, but because I'm only going to use the one, I can scoot this one over a little bit farther. Maybe right in between here is where I'll put that runway. That's going to help me coming in between all our trees over here and dropping it in. I'll come in closer this way instead of having it all the way over here. So I'm going to let all this go and then put a new runway right here. The other thing that I need to do is dial in my landings, because this is a very big runway and I seem to not be able to hit it. So let's put in a nice runway here, maybe make it a little bit smaller, force myself to actually be better at flying and actually land on the runway. Okay, first thing we do is fly the F-18 simply because it has the receiver in it already. The next thing is take the receiver out of the F-18, put it in the Spitfire, then we'll be able to fly the Spitfire. I have to yoink the battery that I had for the turbo timber in order to fly the Spitfire. It's the whole thing. I know. But it works, it just takes a little more time. Would love to standardize my battery situation around here, because coming out of the float plane, whatever these ones are called, EC3 maybe, and then the red ones are Dean connectors or something. Then these, I forget, XT60s or something. But I love these connectors, they're my favorite. So I've got that connected to the Dean. And I've got this octopus looking thing and all the different connectors on it. Those, yeah, XT60 is what that says. The XT60 ones, I just feel like they plug in and they have an appropriate amount of tension on them. Easy to get them back off without snapping everything and pulling your wires out. Some of these other ones, I feel like there's too much tension. But, have I flown an airplane with the battery dangling out the bottom of it? Yes. So I do appreciate when it has the appropriate amount of tension not to just lose the battery. So that's always good. So let's get this thing charging up, and then we'll do some flying. This will be the battery for the Spitfire. So we got 4S. Get that started.
That's all the bacon. I'm hungry.
Okay, I'll help you out in just a second. And then we need to get the F-18 battery going. So that's a little 1000 milliamp 4S. Makes it fly fast. Oh wait, I've only got one of these octopus things. See what I'm saying? I gotta get this whole battery situation standardized. I've got two of these big units. So for the Draco batteries with those giant with the EC5 connectors. We got connectors for that, but I don't have another connector for the XT60. So we got to get some organization around here. Got to get some standardization. Nothing better than standardizing, and we'll be able to make some progress. So. Got too windy. I had those batteries charging because I wanted to do the Spitfire and the F-18 and the Draco and really dial in where I wanted to land, but the wind has picked up. I'm not good enough to fly in this kind of wind. Sorry to say, this is what it is. But the other issue is the wind was coming from the east, which would have been nice for this runway, and it shifted to coming out of the west, or excuse me, out of the south a little bit too much. So crosswind landings are definitely not my thing. So we'll save it for a different day. So we'll come back tomorrow and see if the winds are a little better. So I was looking for a way to fix the Spitfire. Come down here to the closet in the basement, find a new dingle bopper right where I left it. Perfect. You know, dingle bopper. Dingle bopper fixed. Uh-oh, this looked a little crooked. Wait a second. Oh man. No worries, I think I have a solution. Ta-da! Focus. Focus, focus, focus. This is my solution. So, little barbecue skewer thing. Stick that down in there, give it a little bit of rigidity, and we'll get back to flying. Okay, the surgery is going well. I just need to cut off the excess, so I'll grab my little handy dandy side cutters and snap it off. And surgery complete. Let's get this garage cleaned out. I feel like I can't even breathe in here. It's truly incredible how much junk accumulates within a short period of time. Well, this is oddly satisfying, and I feel like I can breathe again. All right, the wind died down, so I think we can actually get some flying done today. We don't have to wait for tomorrow. We got the garage cleaned out, so progress was still made, and we'll get a couple flights. I've got the battery charged for Draco, so let's do Draco first, and then hopefully by the time we're done with Draco, we can knock out the F-18, swap it over to the Spitfire, knock some flights out on that. Let's try to dial in these landings a little bit. So I'm going to set you up just to see the actual landing zone, and I want you to critique my landings, and let's try to work on getting it on the runway. I'll kind of cut the video so you're just seeing the takeoffs and landings best we can, and we'll see if we can make any progress with my ability to manipulate the controls and put the aircraft where I want to. So let's see what we can do. All right, so it looks like we've got Draco dialed. I can land with relatively no wind, full flaps, and the landing's pretty consistent. I can hit that reverse throttle and shut it down pretty quickly, so I feel like I can reduce the size of the runway pretty nicely and give us a little bit less to manage with Draco. Now, is that going to be true for that Spitfire? Is that going to be true for the F-18? I don't know. So let's go test those ones out. Be right back. Let's try the Spitfire first. I think I've got a battery charge for it. I'll swap that receiver out from the F-18, so be right back with the Spitfire. Okay, nobody panic. It took forever to get set up. I don't know why. I swapped over the receiver from the F-18 into the Spitfire, and then I found a thing, you just saw that in the video, and then I couldn't find the binding plug because I swapped the receiver, so then it needed to be rebound, so I had to go search for that. It's finally ready to fly. The sun's down. Hopefully that still leaves us with enough time to fly this one and the F-18. I'm not panicking. Don't panic either. Let's get to it. And let the struggles begin. I am not very good at this Spitfire whatsoever. Bring it around, start with a go around, just get set up, and then another go around. And let's try for a landing on this one. Are we gonna be able to get it? Nope, another go around. I cannot set this thing up to get the landing done. There we go. There's a little hop, skip, and a jump of a landing, but way too far. Gotta reset it. Get to running, old man. Get her down there. Get another takeoff going. Let's see if we can get it done. Nope, another go around. Just can't get the airspeed altitude right. This one's looking a little better. I think we can do it. And, oh my goodness. Starting to get just a little bit frustrated with the whole deal. Get out of here. Let's try to make this happen. All right, get her slowed down. Come on down. We can do it. We can do it. I can't do it. Why? Why not? Let's do a little donut and take back off. You can see that base to final turn. It's a little high, a little fast. So it's making my approach on final coming in too high, coming in too fast, and using up that whole runway. Okay, so conclusion with the Spitfire, I'm horrible at landing it, and I need a lot of runway. I can't get low enough out in, let me try to put us right out there where the tree and that tree, just getting over this road right here, just kind of shooting the gap. That's where I'm struggling the most to get the altitude low enough and slow enough out there. So I end up using most of the runway and kind of landing towards the end of the runway. So what I'm thinking is we just change the orientation of the runway, like I was talking about earlier, where instead of having it where the end of it, which way my finger go? This way. Move that further over there, closer to that tree, that one. So I think if we scoot that runway over a little bit, I'll have a little bit of an easier time landing the Spitfire and reducing that altitude early enough in order to not use the entire runway, so we can actually shorten up the runway a little bit, have a little bit less grass to manage, because I want to get this grass really nice, do all the fun things to it to make it like a putting green, but it's a lot of grass to manage, especially with 2 runways. So let's delete one, have this one, move it over, put it in the perfect spot, and get some good landings to it. I think there's just enough light to maybe get the F-18 going. Let's try that. It might be a silly idea because I'm losing light. Makes it really difficult to understand the orientation as you're flying. When you're banked this way, banked that way, hard to tell. We're in that amount of light right now. So let's try it, and fingers crossed we don't blow the whole thing up. Much quicker turnaround. I actually had the binding plug, and I don't think there's too much damage. So let's try it and see what happens. But it's all set up, ready to go. Should have just enough light left. Let's see if we can actually land on the runway this time. Okay, not too bad with the F-18. Can't figure out the gyro situation. For some reason, it just seems to be on the whole time. And normally I launch it, turn it off, and then I can fly without it. So at the beginning of that flight, I was kind of flipping every single switch I have on my DX8. Couldn't figure it out. And I even tried on the ground, a couple little things. I don't know what's going on. The gyro's on. So I got to figure out how to turn that back off, find a switch for it, reprogram it, do something like that. But the landings with the gyro on were pretty nice. So I think I did learn something, that when I come in for a landing, maybe I flip the gyro back on. It helps with that landing quite a bit. So something was learned. That's good. Still used a lot of the runway though, that's for sure. It's that same issue with those trees back there. I just don't feel like I can get down low enough because there's trees there. So I kind of have to figure that out in terms of what I want to do with the runway. I think just shifting the runway over might help mitigate that problem. I'll be able to come in lower and actually land a little bit earlier in the runway instead of dragging it all the way down the runway to just land at the very end of it. So pretty good overall success. Learned a lot, and I think what we can do is move that runway and make some progress on our takeoffs and landings. Okay, accomplished many a thing today, and I've got the better idea of exactly how long I want those runways. So tomorrow we'll do the full deleting of the runways and then start getting a better idea of where we want those. Maybe a week from now or so, we'll let the grass grow back in and then put that new runway in exactly the way we want it. The length and the width, maybe just a little bit shorter, a little bit skinnier, and actually have to work on these landings a little bit, get a little better at flying these airplanes. So that's gonna do it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for some runway deleting. The last little bit of the runway, it's almost all gone. Oh, and some dandelions. And that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thanks for sticking around. Catch you on the flippity flop.